Hello everyone. As you can see, I am on the floor, both physically and spiritually. And as you can see, I am surrounded by lots of books on the floor. And that is because today I am finally doing the task that I've been putting off for well over a year. And that is to reorganize my bookshelves. This is so daunting to me. Every single time I put it off every single year whenever I run out of space and I need to reorganize because I just hate doing it. I love the end result. Love it. Love when they're all pretty and neat and organized and everything has its own space and there's room for more books. I hate doing it. It takes me so long, and that is because I overthink it and I want it to look perfect. And so this year we're really trying not to do that. The goal is to organize, create enough space, create space for new books, and to just have it looking decent. I don't need it to be some perfect Architectural Digest ready bookshelf. It just needs to look good enough that when I'm laying on my bed and I'm sitting in my room and I'm looking at them, I'm pleased, I'm happy with them. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I think I usually start out on the floor whenever I do this. It just feels right. I typically just start taking things off the shelves and then rearranging them. I've already started a little bit, as you can see from the books on the floor, and I don't think you can see many of the empty gaps up here, but there's some gaps because I've already moved some stuff around just to prepare for this. I literally just got rid of 10 to 15 bags of books that I donated to Goodwill and the library, and I still have more that I need to unhaul. As I reorganize, I'm probably going to take a few things off as well, probably fill up at least one other bag. And I have some new books that I've also ordered that I need to make space for, and so many releases that are coming out this year, special editions I want to buy. And this year I'm really just trying to curate my library to just be full of books I'm really excited about, books I really loved, and editions of books that are really special to me. And speaking of really pretty special editions, I want to tell you all about the sponsor for today's video, which is Wraithmarked Creative, who is collaborating with V.E. Schwab to create a deluxe illustrated edition of A Darker Shade of Magic. You all know that's one of my favorite fantasy series, and I am so excited about this deluxe edition. V.E. Schwab is working directly with Wraithmarked Creative on this project. Rovina Sai is doing the art for the cover of the book and the full wrap illustration on the hardcover case. The dust jacket will be embossed and have gold foiling. It has a ribbon bookmark, gilded page edges. It's signed by V.E. Schwab. There are going to be full color end sheets designed by Felix Ortiz and a ton of interior illustrations in black and white as well. Everything about this book is completely custom crafted and custom designed, so it's going to be totally unique to this project. I am so in love with the cover of this. I just think it's so beautiful and captures the essence and the atmosphere of the story so well. It looks so stunning already, and I am so excited about this special edition. If you're a book collector like me and you love having special editions of your favorite books, Wraithmarked Creative is known for working on these special deluxe editions of these well-loved fantasy books. So if you're interested in checking out this deluxe edition of A Darker Shade of Magic, the Kickstarter is now live and the link is in my description box below, so be sure to check it out there. And thank you again to Wraithmarked Creative for sponsoring this video. But now, getting back into this whole mess, I have no plan, so we are really just gonna go based on vibes. But what's new with me? Let's get started and sort all of this out because I'm so tired of dealing with this mess. So this is what we're working with. As you know, I have my 5 bookshelves and I have no extra room, so we have to make everything fit in here somehow and still have extra space for all the other books I want to buy and the other ones I've already ordered that are on the way. One thing I really want to do this year is the Shadowhunter books. They take up too much space on my shelf, and I don't like the way that it looks. I don't want to get rid of them, but I don't want them all in this one big block here. But at the same time, I don't want to really separate the series. So one idea that I have is that I might move these to the top of the bookshelf. You can't see from this angle, but I have some stuff on the top of my bookshelf right now, and I'm not 100% set with where everything is, so I can move stuff around. But I'm thinking I'm gonna put some books on the top because that's the only way that I can have more space. So let's start with moving that around and see how that looks. And yes, I do have books on books. I think that works. So I think I officially decided that I'm going to get rid of the Bane Chronicles and then the Lost Book of the White and whatever the first one is, the Red Scrolls of Magic, because I haven't read these two, and honestly at this point, I don't think I ever will. And the Bane Chronicles I have read, and yes, Magnus is my favorite character in this entire series, but I don't think I'm ever gonna read this again. I'm not a fan of her like co-written books for this series. They're just not the same. They don't feel the same. I think I might hold on to Ghosts of the Shadow Market. I might put it with the Dark Artifices books, wherever I put that. I just don't think I'm ever gonna read this again, so I don't need to hold on to it. I didn't even like it very much. Okay, a couple more books I'm getting rid of. This special edition of Chain of Gold. I don't need it. I really want the Waterstones one. Will I ever get that? Probably not, because resellers sell it for like $300 and I'm not paying that much for a single book. So I probably won't get that, but I don't think I need this. I honestly don't even like it that much. I really do like the cover part and I like the gold foiled pages, but I do not like this spine. I'm just not a fan of what they did with it, and I have like 3 copies of Chain of Gold already, so I don't need a 4th one. And then this is the Hurricane Wars, which was sent to me by the publisher, and I am never going to finish reading this. I started it last year, wasn't really feeling it. Then I found out that it started out as a Raylo fanfic. So that's just not happening. We all know how I feel about Raylo. So yeah, definitely don't need this anymore and don't need this one either. So these two can go. Okay, now the dilemma remains, where do I move things around? I like having these like middle shelves that are really visible in my videos to have like some of my favorite books and my prettiest editions of books because you can see them in the background of my videos. So I think I'm just gonna start moving things around and we'll see what looks good and what doesn't. Okay, so I'm not keeping these here 100%, but what I did was move my fantasy books where I only have 1 book in the series. I don't own the whole series or the other books aren't out yet or something. I moved them all here. There are a couple more that are on my shelves where I only have 1 of the books in the series, but they fit into different categories. Like I'm keeping Dark Academia together, or I'm keeping like Gothic books and stuff like that together. So those are gonna stay in their own section, but these are all the like fantasy books where I just have the 1 and I don't have another place for it. So I think I'm gonna group all of these together. Not sure which shelf it'll go on yet, but for now we're just gonna group things together and then move them around. I think next I'm gonna work on like fantasy romance, which is what I was doing on the shelf over there. I'm gonna try and group all of those together. I don't think they can all fit on 1 shelf, so I'm probably gonna have to expand it to 2 shelves, but we're gonna move all the fantasy romance series I have first, like Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. The 2nd book for this is just out now, I believe, so I have to order a copy of it, so I'll leave space for that. But yeah, I'm gonna put all of the series and duologies and stuff that I have that are fantasy romance all together. I moved a couple things around, so ignore that for now. But this is what we're doing with the fantasy romance series shelf for now. So I'm gonna add this here, but we will fix all of that. I think this is mostly my fantasy romance books that I have. There are a couple other ones, like if you consider an Ember in the Ashes fantasy romance, which I don't really, it's more just fantasy to me. For now, again, just grouping things together because my brain works that way and I feel like I'll be able to have things more organized if I do it like that. Alright, so this is what we have so far. As you can see, it's nowhere near finished. There are a couple shelves that I feel pretty sure about. I think I'm going to keep my graphic novels where they are, and I'm definitely going to do some more rearranging on some of the series shelves. But I think these top 2 in the corner are pretty solid. I think I'm going to keep them that way. I think my ARC shelves are pretty solid. I think I'm going to keep them like that too. Still don't know what I'm doing with my manga, but we'll sort that out. But yeah, I took a bit of a break to have some lunch and now I have a little bit more energy in me. So we're going to pick it up again. We're going to keep going, see how far I can get. This is literally taking me all day. It's so exhausting. And I have a ton of books behind me too that I'm unhauling and that I want to donate. So I have made some space, which is really nice, but I could always use like 2 more shelves and it still wouldn't be enough. I think I've made the executive decision that it's time to retire the Night Circus shelf, which I know it's like the end of an era. It's not like I like the book any less or something. It's just I feel like I want to use the space differently. So we are retiring the Night Circus shelf. I'm gonna do something different with that shelf. Don't know what it is yet, but recently I bought this beautiful edition of Pride and Prejudice that I think I'm going to display here because I think this looks really nice. And I've been super into the Easton Press and Franklin Library editions of classic novels, and I've been eyeing a few of them that I really want to pick up. So I think I'm going to save this shelf for some of those because if I just like move this one like this, I'll have plenty more room if I want to add more books. For now, I will just display this because it's super, super pretty and I love the cover of this. Hello everyone. Okay, as you can see, the sun has gone down. It's nighttime now. It's fully like 6 o'clock. I've been doing this literally all day. I started this at like 11 a.m. Still going, still going. So some progress has been made. I have this open shelf right here and I have my like lit fic books that are right here by the globe that I really need to organize. I don't know what I'm doing with that yet. And then some of these shelves on this side that you can't see in frame right now, those need to be organized, but the books that are there are pretty much going to be staying there. But I finally now see the end. I see the light. We are almost there. And then I can get to decorating and putting all the like knickknacks and everything back on my bookshelves, which is my favorite part. Let me show you a little bit of what I've done and what I have left to do. So as you can see here, this fantasy shelf I think will probably stay the same. Some of these series I might move around, but I did my romance partially lit fic shelf. I have the whole like Elena Ferrante series here because I didn't have any other place to put it, but it just like works with the colors here and it's contemporary. So it works at least somewhat thematically with some of these books, even though most of these are romance. These I might move because I don't know that they really fit here. I just don't have another spot for my Madeline Miller books right now, but we'll see once I organize those other shelves. This shelf I decided to kind of turn into a favorites shelf, and then it's a bit difficult to show, but the top shelf has my journals on it and a copy of The Night Circus, my Howl's Moving Castle art book, and just some of my personal journals and stuff. But yeah, we just have a bit left to do, and then once I'm done with everything, I will show you the completed shelves. Let's get to finishing all of this up so that I can finally relax, turn on the lights, and enjoy the finished product. It is finally complete. I waited until the next morning to film the final reveal for you all because it was just really late last night and it got really dark, so the lighting wasn't any good. But I finally finished them and oh my god, I am so happy. This quite literally took me all day yesterday, and I know I started off this video by saying that I wasn't going to focus on perfectionism and trying to make them look picture perfect. I still did that. I don't know that I can ever get rid of that trait in myself. But it's fine, it's done now, there's no going back, and I'm really satisfied with how they turned out. So let me give you like a mini tour of where I put everything. All right, so starting up here, we have my classic novels, or at least some of them, some of the special editions I have. Then moving down one shelf, we have my fantasy romance series. Next, we have a series shelf that's like a mix of some fantasy and some dystopian, and some contemporary here as well. Next, we have my manga shelf that I managed to condense down into just one shelf. The bottom two shelves, which I don't think you can see too well from here, are just my arcs. Next, this top shelf, we have my journals up here. Then we have some of my special edition leather-bound classic novels, and then we have some of my favorite books here. Then this shelf I decided to use as kind of like a free space. Right now I have one of my journals displayed here, but if I ever need more room, I can always move these and then have this as more room to expand. Then down here we have my graphic novels and just enough room for the next volume of Heartstopper. And then at the very bottom we have some of my childhood books. Next up here, another fantasy series shelf, followed by another fantasy series shelf, and then a third fantasy series shelf. But we do also have the Hunger Games on this one, so it's just like some of my favorite series. Next we have my romance shelf, which definitely has a bit of space to expand, and then another fantasy series shelf down here, and the very bottom has some more of my classics and my Shakespeare. Next up here, yet again another fantasy series shelf. Can you tell what my favorite genre is? Then we have fantasy standalones, followed by dark academia / gothic ebooks. Just kind of grouped those all together. Then we have some of my litfic books right here. These are mostly some of my favorites and the ones that are like high on my TBR. Down here we have another fantasy series shelf, and in the very bottom are my journals. Up here, another classic fantasy series shelf, and we have my YA contemporaries, a fantasy series where I only have the first book in the series. Then we have some more litfic plus some dystopian and sci-fi on the end there. Down here I have my historical fiction, and then at the very bottom I have my nonfiction, poetry, and some extra copies of my film and TV and reading journals. But that's it. Those are my completed, reorganized bookshelves. I am so happy that this is done. I'm very proud of how they turned out, and now I'm glad I can just sit in this chair and I can look at them without feeling overwhelmed and stressed because they're so messy and there are 50 books on the floor. But that pretty much covers it for this video. I hope this inspired some of you to reorganize your bookshelves this year and maybe give them a new look. If you all would still like to see a full in-depth bookshelf tour, let me know. I can definitely make that. It's been a few years since I've done one, so I'd be happy to do it. But if you would like to follow me on any of my social media, all of my links are in the description box as always. But thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!